Hello and welcome to Outside Views. Today we are exploring an essential topic within the European Union's legal framework. That's the role of regulations, directives and decisions. These three types of EU legal acts are crucial for understanding how laws are created and implemented across the member state. So let's break down what each of these terms means and how they function within the EU. First, let's discuss regulations. Regulations are one of the most direct and binding forms of EU legislation. When the European Union adopts a regulation, it is immediately applicable in all member states without needing any further national legislation. And this means that regulations have direct effect, which is a legal principle allowing them to be enforced directly by individuals and businesses within the member states. Regulations are used when uniformity across the EU is essential. For instance, the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, is a well-known example. It provides a single set of rules for data protection across all EU countries, ensuring that individuals' data is protected consistently, no matter where they are in the EU. And now let's move on to directives. Directives are a bit different from regulations. Unlike regulations, directives are not directly applicable. Instead, they set out goals and objectives that member states must achieve, but each country has the flexibility to decide how to implement these goals through their national laws. For example, the EU's Waste Framework Directive sets out objectives for waste management, but it's up to each member state how to determine and how to meet those objectives within their own legal system. And this allows for some degree of flexibility, as member states can adapt their directives' requirements to fit their specific circumstances. And directives typically come with a deadline by which member state must implement them. And if a member state fails to incorporate a directive into its national legislation within the given time frame, it can face infringement proceedings from the European Commission. And this mechanism ensures that directives are effectively transposed into national law and applied uniformly. And lastly, we have decisions. Decisions are individual legal acts that are binding on those to whom they are addressed. Unlike regulations and directives, decisions are not general in scope, but target specific entities, such as member states, companies, or individuals. For example, the European Commission may issue a decision to a member state regarding a specific case of state aid that is considered incompatible with the internal market. Similarly, decisions can be used to address competition issues, grant approvals, or enforce compliance with EU laws. Decisions have immediate legal effects on the entity they address. For instance, if a decision requires a company to change its practices, that company must comply without delay. And decisions can also be appealed before the CJEU if an affected party believes the decision is unjust. To summarize, here's how these three types of EU legal acts fit into the EU's legal framework. The regulations provide uniform rules directly applicable across all member states. Directives set goals for member states to achieve through national legislation, allowing for flexibility in implementation. And decisions target specific entities and have immediate legal effects on those addressed. And this framework ensures that EU laws can be effectively and uniformly applied, while also accommodating the diverse legal systems of member states. And with this, thank you for joining me in this exploration of EU regulations, directives and decisions. And I hope this video has helped clarify how these different types of EU legal acts function and their roles within the EU legal system. And if you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content on European affairs. And if you have any questions or suggestions for future topics, leave them in the comments below. Until next time, stay informed and see you soon. The next video is right here in the end screen.